Hello and welcome back to Nioh. In the last episode, William set out to Shigisan Castle as a test to prove his abilities to Naomasa and Torii Mototada. After defeating the Juro-Gumo in the castle's keep, he is met with Matsunaga Hisahide, the dead lord of Shigisan Castle, who grants him access to his hidden tea house and the services therein. William had proven his worth to Tokugawa's generals, but it won't be long until he's called to action again, as a mysterious blizzard had appeared in Kyoto. Hello and welcome back. I'm going to be doing something a little bit different for this episode in that I am doing post-recording commentary because I got excited to play some more and I didn't record my voice during that session. So what you're hearing is future me from then, you know what I mean. So the plan for today is to complete one side mission and then move on to the next main mission, and that side mission is the Disappearing Ranjitai. Completing this mission grants us a Master Mage's Locks, which gives us 3 magic points to spend, and the Sandalwood Splinter, which gives us 50,000 Emrita, enough for a level up. So let's jump in. And here we are. Now you may notice I have 9 samurai points in the bottom left. That is because off-screen I completed the Way of the Warrior Adept skill in the dojo, and I actually did this several times to increase my weapon proficiencies with all the training weapons that it gives you. Raising levels of proficiency with each weapon type grants 1 samurai point per level. But completing this mission also unlocks some more advanced skills, like the flash attack, which allows us to attack and switch weapons at the same time. Now with the 9 samurai points, I will be putting those into the spear skill tree to get backslash, a retreating attack, and spear bash, which is a follow-up to the low stance strong attack. And it's going to look something a little like this. It's going to look something a little... No, it's going to look something a little like this. Very nice. Now, every weapon's flash attack is a little different. Some of them have longer range, of course, but others have multiple hits to them. So it's a good chance to experiment. And we're actually going to go off and find our first unwilling victim to show off our new skills. This poor man right here will have to do. Very nice. Try hit him with a backslash. Ooh, very nice, very nice. And then finish him off with a grab. Very nice. So it feels really good to increase the number of skills we have. Makes us feel powerful. Alright, so while Past Me completes, or at least fights off the enemies, I'm going to explain the level a little bit. This one is sort of like a hide-and-seek level, where there are 4 chests around the map, one of which has a Mujina, who has the Ranjitai. That is the goal, but I will be doing a lot of fighting along the way, especially against some revenants. This lad right here, summoned by the Biwa Boku Boku. As you can see with the what is it called again? Spear Bash, I'm sorry. It does a lot of key damage. Of course, we have to make sure it lands first. Go show him our wind power. There we go. I'm starting to like the backslash, actually, if we keep connecting like that. Very cool. So, don't really have a lot of good loot from that guy. We do have a few talismans to get from the Biwa. Now I'm going to go ahead and whistle here to make sure there's no Mujina. Unfortunately, there is no Mujina in here, so we will not be completing this level just yet. I was kind of hoping to, but that's my luck, I suppose. Anyway, we'll be moving on. Now, there is one other Revenant I do want to fight before I continue, and we are going to go over and choose this guy right here, Icy Cold 619. The problem with this guy is that he has a lot of armor, and so he's going to actually be able to tank through a lot of our hits without getting staggered. I'm going to have to be really fast and use the spear to its full range. As you can see, even when he's out of key, he doesn't fall to the ground. It's kind of annoying, but a good parry right there knocks him to the ground. There we go. Very beautiful. I was very proud of that moment, actually. Cool. So moving on to these two, we're going to try and do a 2v1 situation. And already I made a bad decision with that flying monkey. And the spell there. The windup was too slow. This is not going very well for me, is it? Alright, well, we are going to have to turn this around. Luckily, got one out of the way. And finish his friend off. Very nice. Unfortunately, the loot isn't really worth the trouble we went through. I mean, we got some more experience, I suppose, so there's that at least. And moving on to these poor fools, I'm going to try to be using more spells to increase my proficiency in magic, so then I can get more on-meal magic points. Also, I wanted to try and get the infusion off on these guys, but we're doing a bit too much damage for that to happen, but it's fine, as long as the job gets done, right? There we go. I'm not going to waste time with this guy, I'm just going to go ahead and shoot him with an arrow. He's not dead yet, so we gotta go finish him off. There we go. Very nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and backtrack a little bit. There's some loot in this corner here. Not the most worth it, but still, could come in handy. I am going to headshot this guy. Very nice. Then watch him fall and finish him off. Very good, very good. So rifle captain. All right, fighting a dual sword wielder now in a kind of awkward area. I mean, oh, okay, that flying monkey landed, so it wasn't entirely useless. But he's doing very good on dodging my attacks, though. Keep wailing on him. Eventually, there we go. There we go. Very nice. Okay. Moving on, the next chest is in that little shack up ahead, but there's a ninja to the left. There he is. I did, unfortunately, make the mistake of fighting in a very tight space with a very long weapon, but you see, we still got him in the end. I'm going to try my best. You can see I can't seem to hit the rock. There we go. Got some arrows from the well. Now I am going to let Hinazumi do some damage as well. I think because this is a very tight space that he's actually going to help us out with all these bombs so close to each other. Ow, that hurt a lot. I'm going to let that fire finish it off. Very nice. Cool. Now, second chest. Let's see if there is a Mujina in this. Unfortunately, there is not. We have 2 more chests to open, but it gives us a 50-50 shot of this next chest being the end of the level. I am going to headshot the samurai, but there is a ninja waiting inside that shack behind him, so now we have a 2v1 situation again. Not a problem, though, except that's annoying when he throws stuff at us. And then that happens. That was actually a nice combo move on their part, I'm not going to lie. But I am going to give them no mercy now. There we go. Cool. So run past this. There's an archer up there I don't want to get shot by. And heal up, of course. And, of course, the one time I don't whistle, that's where he is. Cool. Well, I'm not going to kill this guy. I don't like killing him if I don't have to, so we're just going to play charades. He should drop us the Ranjatai and some loot as well. Very nice. And we actually have the final part to our Gyosha set, the Token. Cool. I'm going to be equipping that off screen, but that is the end of that level. So now we're going to move on. Actually, we're going to do some things before we move on to the next main mission. Now, with the 50,000 Emerita we get from the Rondatai and the other Emerita we get from completing the level, I will be putting 1 point into body for health and 1 in magic to increase my magic skill. And using the samurai locks in my inventory, I will get a total of 6 samurai points, in which I will use to unlock Water Shadow 2, adding a follow-up attack to my parry, and Shove for the spear to give us a skill to use while blocking. We also add 3 more magic points for a total of 4, and we spend those points on Water Break 1 and Water Stop Talismans 2 to increase our resistance to water damage. Now with all that done, we'll be moving on to the next main mission, Falling Snow. How strange to see snow falling in June. We must do something before the capital completely freezes over. The cold is coming from Honno-Ji Temple. The rumor has it that a woman's cry echo from the structure every night. Will you look into it, William? This level takes place at Honno-Ji, a Buddhist temple located in Kyoto, the imperial capital of Japan during this time. It was also the site of the Honno-Ji incident, in which Oda Nobunaga, the first unifier of Japan and one of the Sengoku War's bloodiest warlords, met his end. In June of 1582, as Nobunaga's campaign moved westward, he stopped in Kyoto and planned to lodge himself at Honno-Ji, as other warlords have done to hide from potential assassins. That same day, Akechi Mitsuhide, a general serving under Oda Nobunaga, under the pretense of following his lord's orders, attacked and set fire to the temple. It is unknown as to why he betrayed his lord, but I have a few ideas why. Knowing that his soldiers were loyal to the Oda clan before himself, Mitsuhide was not upfront with his army as to who they were attacking. One legend states that he announced, "The enemy awaits at Honno-Ji," but in Louis Fraz's History of Japan, it states that he never told them anything at all. Either way, Mitsuhide's betrayal resulted in Oda Nobunaga committing seppuku, and shortly after, Mitsuhide declared himself the reigning shogun. He was soon, however, crushed by forces led by Toyotomi Hideyoshi at the Battle of Yamazaki. Most sources say that Mitsuhide was killed by peasants in his retreat, but there's a theory that he survived and reinvented himself as a Buddhist monk and later became an advisor to Tokugawa Ieyasu. Here we are, the snow-covered ashes of Honno-Ji Temple. I actually like the design of this level. I like the burnt buildings covered in snow. It's really interesting, actually. It tells a lot of story. Cool. Alright, we're going to be moving forward, and you can see there's some weird-looking ice over there. I'm going to beat the skeleton first. With Heaven Flash right there. And a nice flash attack. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. Now this ice. So as Nekomata said, the ice is invulnerable, and nothing we can do will destroy it. But if you look at the mini-map, there is a line connecting the ice to the source of its protection. A source that we must find and destroy. It is on the other side of that snow pile, so we're going to have to go around the long way. But treasure calls, so of course we're going to grab that first. Just a few arrows, not bad. It's always nice to have a surplus of ammunition anyway. Ammunition that we're going to use to take this guy out. Nice. He does have a friend, though, behind that fence. There he is. We're going to fight him with... There we go. An axe parry there. I keep forgetting that I have the water shadow parry on guard triangle. Usually I don't put my guard on guard triangle. Or sorry, my parry on guard triangle. Normally it's on guard square. If that makes any sense to you. It's the inputs, I mean. It's something I'm just going to have to remember throughout the playthrough. But he dropped Raikiri, It's not any better than my current sword, and I don't think it's going to get any better even if we increase the familiarity, so we're not going to be equipping it now. Go. I'm going to do an EI strike. Very nice. One of my other goals for the sword skill tree is to level up the EI strike to its maximum. I know that one level of the skill allows you to combo EI strike during your initial combo. So that's going to be something that I think would be really cool to have. So I'm going to have to put that in the back of my mind, hoping I don't forget to do that. Cool. We're going to be continuing on. Nothing in that corner. There we go. And there's a path that way, but this gate is locked, so we will have to go to this right path. You can probably see, yep, there's an ominous fog, so there's going to be a yokai we gotta fight. And of course, Nekomata rubbing in the fact that this place has a history. If the long explanation I gave wasn't tell you that would hurt. Now, an interesting thing here, actually, is that there's two different kinds of Onibi, one water and one fire, which I actually do like, because the fire one tells the story of the temple being burnt down, and of course, the water one telling you the story of all the ice covering the temple. I just think it's a nice little detail. Now, we're going to fight this Onyudo, and I learned how to say its name properly. I didn't say it correctly the first time. Well, that's whatever. Finish him off with fire, and we're gonna poke him a little bit. There we go. Very nice. Not sure if that means we're gonna see him throughout the level. I do forget. It's been a while since I played this level. So we gotta keep our eyes out for the Onyudo again. Anyway, continuing forward, there is the shrine right over here. I'm going to grab that as our checkpoint. Wonderful, wonderful. And then afterward, I'm actually going to use my divination talisman to reveal the goodies hidden throughout the map. And actually, there is a Kodama that I've never noticed before. Interesting. I should probably be using divination more often. Anyway. Gonna go back to the shrine. There's enough Emrita in our pocket for a few levels. So we're gonna hop in here for a minute. And after some pondering, ultimately I'm gonna put a point into heart, because I'm gonna need that extra ki if I want to keep throwing around my attacks. It's important to have enough stamina to do that. And go back into the thing, me. I have one more. I'm going to put one more point into heart again, because more ki is more ki. It's good. There we go. Now we can venture forth. We are going to poke the rock. There we go. We get whetstone. That will increase the familiarity of our weapon without us having to use it, if that makes sense. Cool. Now you can actually see in that corner, or around the snow, there is a second enemy hiding back there. So we're going to take out the skeleton first. And as you can see, we're correct. The stealth from Hinazumi is actually doing wonders right now. These are Emrita fiends, yokis infused with elemental power and the ability to throw elemental projectiles. A cool gimmick with these creatures is that if you attack them with their own element, they will overload and explode. Cool. I'm going to take out the fire Onibi real quick. And we're actually going to go through our inventory and find a water talisman. There we go. We're going to overload this guy, cause him to explode. You probably saw these guys before in the side mission 3 Angry Gods, or at least the Twilight mission. No, it was the main mission. It doesn't matter. You saw the explosion. That can actually be very useful if you are fighting multiple enemies. That explosion will hurt them as well. But of course, don't get too close to the explosion because, well, obviously. Anyway, those butterflies over there, believe it or not, are actually the source of that ice's protection. So we're going to have to go over there, and unfortunately we're going to have to swat some butterflies out of the air. So, sorry, pretty little things. Please do it. There you go. Telling me to please do it. Alright, now the magic protection is gone, we can go ahead and destroy the ice. Beautiful. It drops a lot of spirit stones on the ground for some more levels if we choose to do it. Now, I am going to sneak up on this guy and poke him. There we go, very nice. Now I get it in my head to try and do something really cool. I'm trying to break his horn with backslash real quick. And I kind of deserve that slap in the back, honestly. Trying to do something cool, but made myself a fool. That happened again. There we go, and then finish him off. Wonderful. Cool. I will never learn from my mistakes. Not entirely true, but I'll still try and be cool. Go. Now we're gonna go follow this path to the right. Going to defeat this Yoki. Do his thing. It's cool. For Flying Monkey, the initial jump actually kind of does damage. It's weird. I guess because you're planting the spear into the ground. Like you're jabbing their toe or whatever. Whatever. I'm gonna open this shortcut in case we die. Which, spoiler alert, I am actually gonna die. Some yokai's gonna punch me in the face really hard, and I'm gonna expire. Well, it's whatever. Now there's a imp. And go ahead and just get him out of here before he starts jumping around. Very nice. And right. In that fog is a Snowclops, which is a water version of the One-Eyed Oni. Funnily enough, well actually not funnily enough, they are weak to fire because, you know, the name is Snowclops. They're made of snow. So we're going to try and use his weakness against him. Also going to be throwing some salt. Now as you see, salt actually purifies the yokai realm that these yokai leave behind. It also does a little bit of ki damage. But at the same time, it leaves us open to get smacked around. You see, he's backing me into the corner. That was really unfortunate. And there you go. Dead. Man, how many deaths is that now? 15. Alright, let's get our vengeance. Alright, this time around, I'm not going to be messing with salt. That caused my downfall. We're just going to start wailing on him after we get Hinazumi back. Actually, we're going to let Hinazumi, after I throw a fireball, let Hinazumi have his fun. There we go. Just keep hitting him with fire. Keep hitting him with fire. Floating around the sky like an annoying wasp. Like, don't jumble my words. There we go. That was a nice jump too, actually. There we go. Got his leg. Beautiful. Now, he did drop a pair of Tonfa. We're going to be looking at that after we collect the Kodama in that back corner. And we're going to be opening that chest too, see what goodies are in there. Of course, check to see if there's Mujina. There's not. And honestly, there's nothing really good in there. Alright, so let's go check out these Tonfa. Now, I'm realizing now I have a lot of weapons, so I probably have to pay the blacksmith a visit. Now, the Tonfa, interestingly, has the special effect of close combat kills give us a small amount of health, and it does increase the break on the weapon as well. And we have wind damage used on this weapon is increased by like 43%. So that makes me want to put some wind talismans in. If I can speak correctly, I'm sorry. Now I'm going to be relearning my skills on the Tonfa. It's been a while. If you see I have 4 samurai points, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the skill tree and get myself a new skill for the Tonfa. Now ultimately, I'm going to be choosing double kick, a low stance skill that we use by pressing triangle while guarding. Now it looks something like this. Very nice. It's another one of those skills that I don't tend to use, so I'm going to try and learn how to use it. Up ahead, there's going to be a new enemy type. This one is a flying bolt, an agile mid to long range weapon, or yokai, I'm sorry. But, as you can see, headshots work just fine. Now, luckily, with the Tonfa, you should be able to keep up with your agile movements, although I'm kind of wailing on it right now. So keep beating her up. There we go. Very nice. I do remember in this area over here, there is a Kodama. We're going to pick him up real quick. And there is a skeleton hiding in those leaves that we're going to smash real quick. There we go. Nice. Man, I love Tonfa. I'm not... You know what? You get the idea. Tonfa's a really cool weapon. Not actually my favorite weapon in this game, though. It was like my second favorite. My true favorite is the Kusarigama, because it's my favorite weapon in real life too. It's just a really interesting weapon. Putting a long chain on a sickle and just throwing it around. I mean, obviously some of the skills in this game aren't really practical in real life, but still, it's cool. Now I'm going to try and do something silly with this guy. As you can see, he can't see us because the stealth is so amazing on Hinozumi. I'm going to be blasting him in the face with a cannon. Of course, he sees me going for the cannon, so it doesn't end up working, but I am a stubborn oaf, and I'll do it anyway. Very nice. Alrighty. Now that... Man, I'm learning that Hinozumi is really fun to use. I think I've been neglecting how useful Hinozumi is for a while. But anyway, it's nice to use him to his full effect. Cool. There's another Ritofine we're going to have to beat up. Unfortunately, you will see one of the weaknesses of the Tonfa. It's really fast, but as you can see by all the numbers, it does not do a lot of health damage. It's very good for key damage, and it has a lot of parry, so it's good for blocking stuff. It's just evidently going to take a while before we beat this guy. That's why we switched to the sword, because I'm getting a little impatient. But that double parry is beautiful. Now, in hindsight, I should have destroyed the butterflies first. That would have given me water on my sword, and then attacked the Ritofine. It would have made more sense, but I just felt like fighting for whatever reason. Anyway, that first cluster of ice over there lost its protection, and we're going to use this new cannon that we got to destroy it. Actually, very fortunate that they gave us a cannon anyway. Oh, very nice. And that actually lured the skeleton, so let's give him a cannonball too. Nice. Wonderful, wonderful. I'm going to drop down. Grab those spirit stones, but before we continue, I do need to go back to the shrine. Not for any level ups really, I just need to reset my respawn location because I don't want to travel like 2 extra miles just to get back here. Very nice. And continuing on the way, I'm not going to fight the skeleton again, as not really a need to. Alright. It is interesting to see me dressed up as a monk wielding a cannon. It's humorous to me. Anyway, We're going to be taking these side paths here because there is treasure along the way, and as you've come to know me by now, I love treasure. Who doesn't? Fortunately, there's another long fight. The skeleton is not taking a lot of health damage from the combat. But if we do that, those final blows, as the game calls it, I'm just going to call it finishing move, I believe. They do a lot of damage, so if we can just keep like knocking them out of stamina and do finishing blows, that should be good. Whatever. We got him in the end. Grab what's in the chest. Nothing too spectacular. It might be useful later, I'm not sure. Anyway, going down this second path here. Let's see. Oh! Skeleton there. Almost didn't see him in time, but good thing I blocked. Finish him off. Beautiful. And we're going to be going up this slope here. There's another skeleton who would have been shooting arrows at us, so it's good thing to take him out now. There we go, and there we go. Nice. Back up, because I was a fool and fell down. There is a Kodama over here, so we're going to go ahead and try and grab him. Oh, but this Onigi's going to get in the way. And the skeleton sees us. I mean, he's going to see us anyway, so might as well just take him now. Beautiful. Grab our little friend here. Then we'll be moving on. Beautiful, beautiful. What's over here? Nothing too spectacular still. Cool. So this actually takes us to the roof of the, not really main structure of the temple, but a main structure of the temple. I'm going to be bypassing the mini-boss area, sort of. And there is actually a shortcut behind this temple, so we're going to go ahead and open that, and then go back to the shrine and call this an episode. There is a way down there, of course, but we're going to do that next episode. Don't want to drag this on longer than I already have. Go ahead and take that skeleton out. Don't want an archer shooting at me while I'm taking out the Umberta Fiend. And of course, like a fool, I don't go for the butterflies. I just go bashing my head against the wall, essentially. It's whatever. All roads lead to Rome, right? Even if some roads are way longer than others. That's how I've come to understand. Anyway, this is a good chance to show off the living weapon for the Tonfa. Still not the most damage, but it gets the job done. See, Hinazumi finished him off just fine. Very nice. Go ahead and grab his loot. I am going to go back and smash the, just get rid of the butterflies. Wonderful, wonderful. Alright. Let's go ahead and smash that pot and then head back to the shrine. I'm gonna be honest, I did not really see much a difference doing post-commentary commentary. If anything, it kind of made it a bit more difficult. So next episode, I will be doing live commentary. Because I found that it works. So anyway, thank you for bearing through this episode. Hope y'all enjoyed. And I am going to see y'all in the next one. Hopefully not in editing mode. Whatever. Have a good one. See ya.